Alrighty, so we've got majority of the stuff done that need to be done for the K Swap. So it's just the minor things left. Bleeding the coolant. I gotta fill the motor with oil. I am gonna take the valve cover off the motor just to pour oil all through the head, just because it's been sitting dry for a little bit. Other than that, really just gotta check all the connections, make sure all the grounds are connected, charge up the battery, and it should be all good to go. I will start first by getting everything disconnected from the valve cover, such as the ground, the two lines running to the oil catch can. We'll have to disconnect the harness from the coil packs there, remove all the coil packs, and we'll be able to pull the valve cover off. Alright, so with everything else disconnected, we can start disconnecting the coil packs here. Pull the 4 connectors off here, and then we'll be able to remove the coil packs, and then we'll be able to pop the valve cover off. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, so we now got the valve cover off as the motor's been sitting dry for a little bit. Just want to pour some oil through the head just to make sure everything was lubricated, good to go. I am going to run a little bit of oil through there, drain it, and then refill with some fresh oil. But other than that, we'll get started on that. Put the valve cover back on. Just got a little bit of fresh oil in this cup here, as you can see. So I'm just going to pour it down each side of the head, going along the cams here. I'm going to spill it or get it on the connectors. So I ended up taking the spark plugs out, clean them up a little bit. They are brand new spark plugs, so I just want to give them a quick clean off with the wire brush before we throw them back in here. So, and then a little bit of RTV on the back corners there. Alright, so we got some oil in our funnel here. The valve cover back on, motor's filled up with oil. Everything's back where it should be, but there is still a couple things that I have to do. I do have to run a ground wire coming from the strut tower here to somewhere on the head. Or connecting to the block somewhere. Want to mount this electronic boost controller. It's just free hanging right now. While we're doing all that, I'm gonna get the battery hooked up to the charger, get it charged up just to make sure it's all good to go. Once we get all that done, battery's charged up. Gonna check the fuel pressure just because I swapped out fuel pressure regulators. I'm not sure what this one's set at, so we'll have to set it near about 45 PSI. The car does have coolant in it right now. The coolant system's filled, but I have not bled the cooling system yet, so I still have to do that. Also, one other thing I forgot, got a new dump tube for the MVR 44 wastegate, just a 90-degree dump, gonna run straight to the ground there, just a V-band. Yeah, we'll get that done, get that slapped on there, little screamer pipe. Anyways, enough talking, let's get working. Try not to get an absolute knuckle buster here. I'm gonna run this ground wire here. I'm gonna run it to the back of the motor. That bolt there, which is running to the back of the head. Run that there, kind of tuck it away a little bit, try to hide it, keep it away from the exhaust as much as possible. But yeah, I got a little sandpaper here to sand off the contact surfaces for the ground cable. Got the contact surface cleaned up. Gonna tuck this wire under here, try to make it as clean as possible. good old handy dandy Moto Master. Shout out Nick. Dump pipe time. This would be a blast. Let me try to squeeze this down here. It's gonna be kind of hard to see. And if you look back there, you'll see the dump tube. Just dumps right behind the subframe there. That'll work perfect. With it being dumped right behind the subframe, we'll get it at the right angle so it's not hitting anything, it's not close to any of the wires. Just before I connect the battery and test the fuel pressure regulator, see what the fuel pressure is set at. I go through all the wiring, make sure all the grounds are good, make sure all the connectors are on, just to make sure that we don't harm the ECU at all. Not a cheap fix, be pretty shitty to have that happen, so. Thought I was gonna need this too, but already shut off. Battery's good to go. So I ended up just adding one more ground going from the chassis to the transmission. After taking a peek around, everything looks good to go. Battery's connected, dump tube's on, all the connectors are on. Just gotta make sure the ECU's all connected and we'll give the key a turn. Then down here, we got our wiring specialties unit here with our K Pro ECU. So in the Infiniti, I still gotta assemble all the center console and whatnot here. The AFR and whatnot is hooked up. Be all good to go. I got the fuel pressure set. I bumped it up a little bit just to get it to about 45 PSI. It's all good to go now. All right, so got everything done that need to be done. The last thing to do is to start it up. Unfortunately, I don't have the laptop here that I need to use. It's at my buddy Nick's house right now. He's, it's his laptop. He needed to take it back, do some studying, but I have the K-Tuner software and all my files on his computer there because my computer was not working with me when I was getting ready to tune. Nick was being a G, helped me out, let me borrow his computers. Yeah, I'll have to go grab that from him. I get the tune uploaded on the car, and then we'll get it started up, bleed the coolant, and continue tuning with Muhammad. I'm excited for that. I'm sure Muhammad will be pumped too to get finished on this thing. Yeah, we'll get to make some jam, but till then, stay tuned.